Good afternoon, Scorpions and Scorpion families. It's Miss Fitzpatrick, and I'm here again with another one of our Scorpion speaker series. Today I'm here with Meredith Berkman, and she is the co-founder of PAVE, which is Parents Against Vaping and E-Cigarettes. Meredith, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes. We're really happy to be here.
Well, thank you. And the reason you're here is because there is a webinar coming up on March 30th, where our parents and guardians are welcome to sign up for that webinar. And they're going to get some really good information for vaping and e-cigarettes and look-fors. What kinds of things can they expect in the webinar?
Well, this is the basic webinar that we've been doing across the country with schools like yours and for community groups, and we've done it for religious communities. Really, our goal with our education work is just to get the word out. And by that, I mean, our goal is to educate parents and guardians and other caregivers for young people, to educate them so they know what to look for. One of the problems with the youth vaping epidemic was that the products themselves were sort of stealth by design. Juul early on, kids would be, and we've heard this many times, kids would be charging them, in their computers, and teachers had no idea. They didn't know what to look for. And the industry is shape-shifting so quickly and creating new products so quickly that we think it's really important for everyone to know what these objects look like, to know what's inside of them, to understand the health harms, to know how to speak to your child or your student or your patient if you find out that they're using these products. I think there are a lot of issues we want to talk about. We talk also about the need for parents and guardians to partner with their school and with the educators. We talk about alternatives to suspension rather than punishment, because we're talking about an actual addiction and having people understand it's not that these kids who are using these products are deliberately, doing bad behavior. It's that they have been addicted because of the predatory behavior of the tobacco industry.
Absolutely. Now, will you be showing parents and guardians examples of what different vapes look like? I know a lot of our families don't know. They don't do it themselves. But are you going to be showing examples of like different types and what they look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We have slides, but I think now that you said that, this was not done by, I realized that the mom bag behind me, I wasn't trying to be cutesy, but in that bag, which I carry all over the place, I will bring, in addition to the fact that we have very clear slides, I do have, a box of this junk, this poison. And the reason that we, my partners and I carry it around is so we can hold it up. Sometimes I think in addition to the slides, I will make sure to hold up some of the puff bars, Puff Bar now being the most popular product among kids, the disposable. So we'll cover all of that. And we're very, very open. Every community is different. Every group is different. Every parent and family is different, every school. So of course, we're always really happy for interaction and questions from the audience, perhaps in advance, I don't know if that's how you like to do it. And during, it's a very conversational, especially because I talk a lot, but it's a very conversational and hopefully informative and accessible program.
So are there certain behaviors that are associated with addiction? I know that sometimes, parents have came to me and they say, I'm worried my student or my son or daughter is addicted to, nicotine or drugs because they're withdrawing, because they're starting to hang out with new friends, and there's all these different reasons. Do you guys have certain behaviors that are common with nicotine addiction?
Well, there are definitely certain behaviors, that have been, research has proven for years that when you're talking about a young person with their developing brain until they're 25, I think, and they're developing lungs, there are certain behaviors that can be signs of nicotine addiction. And we do list sort of 10 signs your kids are doing this. The problem is that some kids will present those and others won't. But I will say one of the issues that that we hear a lot about from parents whose kids are suffering from this kind of nicotine addiction is that there's a real personality change. You know, either they're much more anxious, they have extreme anger, they suddenly drop a lot of weight. There are lots of things, and we can go through that. But one thing I will say, and I think it's really important for people to understand, is you know, this was a generation of young people, but for the entrance onto the scene in 2016 of Juul, which opened this terrible Pandora's box of the youth vaping, the youth vaping epidemic. So it's not only Juul, but they really were the sort of the OG on this. And now, as I said, companies like Puff Bar and others. But this was not a generation of young people that would otherwise have been largely using nicotine products, using tobacco products at all. And we know that because the youth smoking rates, and I'll repeat this, I'm sure, on the 30th, but the youth smoking rates in this country were the lowest they'd ever been right before that. You know, I think it was single digits, maybe just below 6%. So that's really a terrible thing. And what that gets to is this notion that the youth vaping epidemic, the youth vaping crisis, it cuts across all kinds of kids. And unfortunately, almost in the blink of a parent's eye or an educator's eye, this became the social norm. And that's what the real tragedy is. You need to address your community.
Well, we really appreciate you addressing our community, and we want as many parents and guardians of our school to come to your webinar at 4:00 on March 30th. But this is also open not only to Desert Sky Middle School families, this is open to any family in Washoe County School District. Meredith, is there anything else that the parents need to know about the webinar?
No, just be open-minded. And bring your questions in advance or as you're listening. And I think every step a parent takes, is important. And even just attending the webinar, or if you can't attend the webinar, to connect and watch it after, we'll post the link. That's really important. It's really about educating yourself so you know what to look for. And education, I think we have both an advocacy arm and an education initiative, but we believe that education in some ways is the most important form of advocacy. Once you know what to look for and you know how to handle this problem, then you're a part of the solution, which we so urgently need. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak. Not every school, even now when this is such so clearly an adolescent public health crisis remains such, not every school is willing to put itself out there and to engage with its parent community and say, this is a problem and we need to understand it and work with it. So I really want to applaud you and your community, and you in particular, for being so kind to organize this and to have us. So thank you.
Of course. And at the end of the Scorpion Speaker Series, you guys are going to see the link and the flyer of how to sign up for the webinar. That is, once again, 4:00 on March 30th. If you need help signing up for the webinar, you can contact me, Ms. Fitzpatrick, and I can help you get signed up. All right, Scorpions, have a wonderful day.